All right, we are about 10 minutes here until the opening bell on Wall Street. Let's take a look at some of the trending tickers here on our site this morning. First up, we got to take a look at Microchip Technology because chip stocks are on the move after President Biden is doubling down on chip funding, announcing a $162 million investment in Microchip Technology to expand factories in Colorado and in Oregon. Now, this is the second round of funding from the Biden administration since the CHIP Act went into effect back in 2022. Now, this is the first round of funding for Microchip Technology. It's important to point out that first award went to BAE Systems just last month. But Maddie, when you take into account what's happening here, obviously the Biden administration really placing an emphasis on bringing this manufacturing for chips back into the U.S., focusing on national security. And for Microchip, this funding will be for chips and will be for MCUs, which is really key to both consumer industries, but also defense industry as well.
Right, exactly. It's not the typical chip conversation that we talk about a lot, where it's an AI-driven play here. What I think is interesting is the thinking on who the Biden administration selects for this funding. And we know that this name had already talked about building up these fabs for chip production back in February. So they were already at this work, which is really critical because this money can take a long time to get to these firms. We've heard that complaint from the previous funders that received this money, and it could take up to 5 years for these factories to even get up and running. But having said that, 700 jobs created and lots of potential chip production as well, which could be really important to future-proof the U.S.
Yeah, certainly. And we've heard from Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo that they plan to award more of these types of funding here going forward, saying that we should expect to make about a dozen semiconductor chip funding awards here in 2024. So this is the first.